All right, so lesson 7.2 is going to be similar polygons. You see it all right? Perfect. All right, similar polygons. This one is going to be another 2-dayer, guys. I will do all the teaching today, and we'll have a homework day. But this is one that some of you guys are struggling on last chapter, or 2 chapters ago when we were working it. So the goals for this section, okay, you're going to be able to identify similar polygons. Okay, you'll be able to solve problems using those properties of similar polygons. And then the other part that I really want to discuss on here is when we start looking at those similar polygons, you have to be able to tell which ones are going to be the angles that match up, which ones will be the sides that match up. Okay. So like when I have those, I'm just going to use triangles to start with because 3 shapes is a little bit easier for me to work through. Okay, so like this one, this angle here, these 2 are the same length, and these ones are the same length. So I'm going to say this is A, that's my B, this is my C. And even though I would going to have a bigger shape, I'm going to say this is X, this is Y, this is Z. Like this angle will match up, these ones will match up, these ones will match up. So it was kind of on that test that we did before, or that lesson that we did before, where we were able to tell that side AB was equivalent to XY. You guys remember doing that? And then side BC was equivalent to YZ. And then side AC was equivalent to that XZ. You guys remember that part? Hopefully. Okay, that's what this is. So I'm going to show that picture of what they were trying to show with the similar polygons. Don't worry about all that stuff that they're putting on there. But really what we're looking at, we just need to figure out that in between these angles that match up, we know that these line segments will be those similar sides. In between these angles, that'll be the similar side. And between these angles, a DC, this will be the similar side. And then that AD and that WZ would be those similar sides. Also, I'm going to kind of remind you guys, when we give the shapes and we give the letters are important. They do tell us which order that they're going to go together. So like this one, A, B, C, D. So I'll kind of go that way. First 4 letters, A, B, C, D. It's going to go in the exact same order. They're going to correspond with that W, X, Y, and Z. So if they give you the letters of the shape, the letters in that order are going to correspond together. And let me know when you're good. I'll move on. Good. All right. So I was showing somebody else how to do some of this stuff earlier. So let me erase my notes from before. Again, it was a lot of stuff. Okay, back onto here. So I'm going to look at this very first example. In this diagram, NPQR is going to match up with UVST. Remember, my letters are going to match up. Okay, it says list all pairs of congruent angles and write proportions that relate to the corresponding sides. Okay, for this first one, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to use that highlighter just to visibly show which sides are going to match up with each other. So again, it started off with NP. So that was the MP. So these two were my first two letters. And then it said UV. These line segments are going to match up with each other. My next two were PQ for my first set of letters. And my second set of letters were going to be VS. These ones will match up with each other. I got QR as my next two letters. So QR, ST are my next two letters. And then again, I'm going to take the first letter and the last letter. So that NQ and that US or UT. Those ones will be my other matching side. So that line segment there, and then this line segment there. Again, you don't have to have as many colors when you go through and do your assignments, quizzes, tests, whatever. But I just wanted to visibly show you which colors are going to match up. Okay, likewise, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to draw those arcs. Excuse me. Those arcs to show the angles that are going to match up. I know in between my yellow and blue line, that's going to be my one arc. In between my blue and my green line, or my second two letters, that'll be the 2. In between my green and my purple line, I'll have my 3. And then between that yellow and that purple one will be the 4th. Also, if you go through and you saw the letters, again, between my first two, the NPQ, that's where I put my first one. In between the first one, UVS, that's where I put my first one. Again, being able to identify which segments match up along with which angles are going to match up. So this one is not going to be nearly as fail-safe as the triangle ones that we did on that last test. Okay, because there's 4 sides, there will be some angles that get left out. So the way I'm going to write it, I'm still going to set it up similar to how we did it before. I'm still going to write the sides that are similar to each other, and I'm still going to have my angles that are similar to each other. So for this part, I started off, I did write it with the colors. So with my colors, my very first side that I'm going to go with will be side NP. NP is going to match up with UV. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next one. So I started with that yellow. I'll do the blue one next. My next one will be PQ. That'll be similar to the VS. Okay, next one was going to be that RQ. That'll be similar to the ST. And then my very last one will be NR. That will be similar to that TU. Again, I did it with colors to show it. But those ones, both my yellow ones were matching up. Both my blue ones. That second set of letters were matching up. ST and then RQ, those green ones were matching up. And then my purple ones, those ones are all matching up. For my angles, the angles that are going to be related to each other. Okay? I'm going to have angle N is the exact same as angle U. I've got angle P is going to be the exact same as angle V. I've got angle Q will be the exact same as angle S. And then angle R is going to be the exact same as angle T. I went through a lot of the work and I put the lines on my shapes to start off with. You're perfectly good to do that. If you're not going to redraw the shapes, again, that's going to be your choice, but make sure you're taking your time to look at the ones that will match up with it. Okay, also, for this one, I'm going to point it out. When I said my shapes are going to go in the same order, if it's just going to be two different shapes, my first two letters, this N and the U, they match up. My second two letters, the P and the V, they match up. Next letters, Q and the S, they match up. R and the T, they match up. Again, the order of the letters is going to be another clue when you deal with the angles. The sides are going to be a little bit trickier. You're going to have to follow through those. But again, the same order of those letters will match up, or should match up every time. Okay. Anybody need more time? All right, on to example number 2 then. It says I've got triangle ABC is congruent to RST. List all the pairs of congruent angles and write the proportion that relates to the corresponding sides. So just like I did before, I'm going to make that chart. Okay, I've got my sides. I've got my angles. I'm going to have you guys talk me through it. All right, to the first line segment, I'll start off with AB. Which one is going to be congruent on that other triangle? Perfect, RS. Okay, my first two letters were A and B. Second two letters were RS. Perfect, those are going to be my same congruent sides, or similar sides. All right, my next line segment, I'll go for BC. Which one matches up with BC? ST, fantastic. And then my last side, I've got AC. Which one matches up with that? Yes, ma'am. RT. You got it. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to write those same kind of correlations together. You guys had it right. It was going to be AB is similar to that RS. I've got BC is going to be similar to the ST. And then I've got AC is going to be similar to that RT. Okay. On to the angles. If I want to make those ones out, again, you can look in between the different colors, between the yellow and purple. Okay, otherwise it's going to be between those first two. Or if you decided that you didn't want to draw the lines, you can check out the letters that go in order. So it's A, B, C, the RST. Excuse me. These will all match up with each other. So which one is going to have the exact same angle as angle A? Perfect, angle R. It's the very first letter. I love it. Okay, so I started with angle A and then angle R. Next one, I've got angle B. Which one's going to match up with angle B? Fantastic. And then the very last one, angle C, the one that matches with that, perfect, will be T. By show of thumbs, how you guys feel on this? Make sense? Again, not incredibly difficult, but the attention to detail is what helps people out. All right, on to this next part. We're going to start talking about scale factors. Excuse me. All right, yesterday you guys were doing the same thing. We just didn't have pictures to go along with it. A scale factor. A scale factor is going to be the ratio of the lengths of those corresponding sides. Being able to understand which sides are corresponding is going to allow us to do this. So, for my sake, I'm going to go through with my colors, and I'm going to kind of highlight which ones are going to match up, just so that way we can visually see which ones are matching up with each other. So I know that AB is going to match up with XY. I know that BC will match up with YZ. And on my last side, that AC is going to match up with this one. So looking at my shapes, I've got these two triangles that are going to be comparing each other. When it says the scale factor of A to B, or sorry, ABC to XYZ, whichever one goes first is the top number in that fraction. Okay, when it has the scale factor, so this one said ABC was first over XYZ. Okay, this one was first, this one was second. Thanks, sir. On this shape, I'm going to look at the number they gave us. In between A and B, they've got a 6. That's why 6 is going to be the top number. Because it says ABC to XYZ. So my very first number, because that's how they gave it to me, was the ABC. So I'm going to put 6 on top. 6 is coming from this shape. The side that matches up with that one, again, this was the yellow side, this was the yellow side. So that's for my second triangle. This one will be my bottom number. So when this one asks my scale factor of ABC to XYZ, so top number, bottom number, I'm going to take 6 divided by 3, and I'm going to get 2. So 6 divided by 3 is 2. If it asked what my scale factor of XYZ to ABC was, I'm going to do this one because this is my very first one they're giving me. XYZ is going to be my very first one, so it'll be on the top. And then ABC is my second one, that'll be on the bottom. So it'll be 3 over 6. Okay, just like usual, we're going to simplify it down to a number that has a 1 in it. So it will be 1/2, or 1 over 2. If you simplify it down with the bottom number being 1, it'd be a 0.5 over 2. Does that make sense where those scale factors are coming from? A little bit. Just so you don't forget, I'm going to put I'm going to put it on the board just so that way we can kind of reference this as we get down into these later samples. But again, the very first one they give you is going to be the top number. The second one they give you, or where they say the word 2, is going to be the bottom number. All right. So looking at this next one. Okay, I've got these triangles here. I need to figure out if they're similar. So it says, determine if they're similar, and if so, write the similarity statement and scale factor. I first have to figure out if they're going to be similar. So I need to figure out with these shapes, which sides are going to match up with each other. So if you want to write it down, go ahead and write it. I'll start talking it in about 45 seconds or so. I'm just going to zoom in on the triangle so you can see those numbers a little better. All right, I'm going to start matching up the sides. So the first one I'll do is going to be NQ. So NQ, this line segment, if I have to identify it, I know it's going to be the one that's in between my one arc and my two arcs. Yeah, RS. So I'm looking for that one arc, that second arc. Okay, so that's why I know that these two are going to be the corresponding sides as I try to figure it out. Okay, my next side, I'm going to go between that 2 arcs and that no arcs. So on the 2 arc side and the no arc side, it'll be that TS. And the last one, I'll go between that 1 arc side to the no, 1 arc to the no. Again, I'm just color coding it so that way I can figure out which numbers I'm going to put in that fraction at the same time. For the sake of trying to make sure things stay together, on the inside of this triangle, I'm just going to let you know. This one, it doesn't matter which order we go in. I'm letting you know right now. But for the sake of it, I'm going to say this will be my top number. This will be my bottom number. So when I put my fractions together, I'll just make sure that every time these numbers from this triangle will be my top number, these will be my bottom number. You can have this be the top or the bottom as long as you're consistent. So looking at those ones, I'm going to do 12.5 over 10. So my yellow ones are going to go together. My next one that I have is going to be 11.5 over 9.2. And then my last one will be 15 over 12. The great news is you got a calculator, you can punch these things in together real quick. I'm I'm going to make it so that way my bottom number is going to be 1 every time. So this will be 12.5 divided by 10. I'll do 11.5 divided by 9.2, and then 15 divided by 12. My first one, 12.5 divided by 10. Perfect, 1.25. So it'd be 1.25 over 1. All of them are going to be over 1. This next, so the next one's going to be 1.25. Perfect. Every single one has the exact same ratio. Exact same number. If they are all the exact same number, I can tell you right away that it's a yes. If we're doing these and I got to the second one and I saw they weren't the same number, you can stop right there. Because in order for those shapes to be similar to each other, every single one has to be the exact same proportionality. Good there. Excuse me. All right, so I've got this next one. Same general idea. It says Tom's designing a new menu for the restaurant where he works. Determine whether the following sizes for the new menu are similar to the original menu, and if so, write that similarity statement, write the scale factor. Similarity statement is going to be which ones match up with each other, which sides match up, and then which ones don't. I don't know if you can. So my original scale is this 10-inch to 12-inch. So for this scale, any thoughts on how we could figure out what the scale factor is? Or sorry, what the proportionality is for this one? I could do that 10 divided by 12. I could try to compare those two sides because it's a rectangle. I could do 10 divided by 12. That's going to give me a number. Maybe 0.83 repeating. So when I do this one, looking at this rectangle, this piece of menu, that's what I need to have that proportional. So I need to have I'll put the short side, I can't spell today, short side over the long side. Okay, so I'm going to look at these next two that they gave us. Oh, I'll just do one at a time. I don't know why it went down that low. Okay, I've got my next one. It's going to be a 12 over 14, or 12 and 14. How will I set up that fraction to figure out the proportionality? I've already accidentally said it once. Yes, ma'am? Yeah, short side over the long side, so 12 over 14. I'm going to do 12 divided by 14. If I did that, I got 0.86. Is that the same number? I'll zoom out so you can compare two numbers. Top one's 8.3 repeating. The bottom one was 0.86. Is that the same number? No. So my menu A is a big fat no. They're not the same. Okay, you guys do this one. The next size is going to be 8 by 9.6. You tell me if that one is going to be the exact same as the original. All right, Caleb, what'd you get?
0.83 repeated.
So is it the same size? Awesome. You got 8 divided by 9.6. You got 0.83 with the 3 repeating. It's the exact same as the one on the top. So for choice B, and I don't know why it went that far down. Choice B, which is this guy over here, that's a yes. How you feeling? Give me that thumbs up, thumbs down. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to go on to that next portion, maybe. All right, so just like the stuff we did before. Okay, I'm going to go through and I want to find out if the value of each variable, or if I want to find the value of the variable if the shapes are similar. So I'm saying that the shapes are going to be similar. I'm letting you know right now the shapes are going to be similar. Excuse me. So with those shapes being similar, I know that I can set them up with the exact same portion of or portionality. I can set them up so that way they're going to be able to solve it using that same cross product style. All right, and I'll show you for each one of those. This will probably be the last one we do today. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to match up the sides that are going to be similar. So in between the 1 swoop and the 2 swoop, 1 swoop and 2 swoop, these numbers will be the same. In between the 2 swoop and the no swoop, these sides will be the same. And then in between that swoop, so the 1 swoop and the none, these ones will be the same. So as I set these up, I'm still going to do the same thing. I'll say this will be my top, this will be my bottom. No matter what, 4 over 2, those are both my yellow ones. I know that constant's going to be there. These will be the exact same because they're the exact same color. I'm going to solve for my blue one first. So exact same way, 4 over 2, it's going to be the exact same constant of proportionality as those 2 blue ones. So I've got that 4 over 2, that's going to equal 6x minus 3 over 3. Again, my top number, my bottom number. Okay, I'm going to cross multiply. That gives me 3 times 4 equals 2 times 6x minus 3. That gives me 12 equals 12x minus 6 plus 6 to this side plus 6 to this side. I get 18 equals 12x. My value for x, once I divide both sides by 12, x equals 1.5. So my value for x is going to be 1.5. I'm going to go quick on this next one because I'm about out of time. The other one, exact same thing. I'm still going to have that 4 over 2 because that same constant of proportionality. And then I'm going to have 3y minus 2. That's going to be over 5. Cross multiply. I get 4 times 5 equals 2 times 3y minus 2. 20 equals 6y minus 4. Plus 4, I get 24 equals 6y. Divide both by 6, I get y equaling 4. Again, set it up with that same constant of proportionality, and you'll be able to work through and figure out what those missing variables are. We will continue to take notes on Monday. Have a great weekend, everybody.